I want to make sure that people can hear us. We've had some issues with Zoom today, which is a pain in the ass. Let's see.
We have two.
We're live at the moment, but let me figure this out. Maybe here. Let's make sure that the audio is good. Let's make sure. There we go. The audio is good. So there was a lag. Let's make sure. There we go. Jesus, good. Turn that fella down. Who's that lunatic speaking while we're trying to talk? Let's rock and roll. Okay. We are with our very, very good friend Paige, and Paige is a fantastic asset for us. She's a fantastic girl who fundamentally just does what she needs to do. And she doesn't complain, she doesn't bawl, she doesn't bitch and moan, she doesn't do the BS. She just does whatever she needs to do to help her and the company that she works with to thrive and to grow. So when Paige came in, I think you were roughly around 25% if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I would say hovering 20-25.
Yeah, and now you're at 75.
Yeah.
Okay, so that means you have. I'm terrible at maths, Francine. Come on, that's why you're here. You're here for the education.
Great.
What does that mean for us?
What does that mean for us?
What does
Over
that mean?
50% increase.
Awesome. What I'll get you to do, Paige. Firstly, I'm with my very, very good friend Francine, who is our fantastic CSM inside, and someone that Paige and Francine are always communicating with, which is what I love. But just give us a bit of a rundown, Paige, of who you are, where you're from, what you do, what you sell, what kind of people do you see on your calls every single day, and let's kind of go from there. The reason why I want you to do that, Paige, just to give you a premise, is because people have this perception of me and what the objection box is that we're a load of gun for hires, a load of fucking mercenaries going around and slapping people from pillar to post, and we're beating people up, and then we're making them give us their card details and all this kind of stuff. I know for a fact if that's what it was, you wouldn't do what you do.
Yeah, exactly. Definitely not.
That
wouldn't work with the woman.
I want to let that go. Okay. Anyway, let us know who you are, what you are, and where you're from, and your offer, and what you guys see on a daily basis inside.
Yeah. So yeah, my name is Paige. I'm from Ontario, Canada.
Sure.
Yeah. So what I do is I work in a women's health program. It's we work with women who struggle with acne. So skin issues, acne is a big one. And the main focus of this program is to help women clear their skin from within. And really, we see a lot of women who have been struggling with acne for like 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, a lot of women between like 25 to 50 who have tried like all the things and have tried different types of acne programs that didn't work. Spent a lot of money. And we often get, a lot of like fear of this, not working because they've been let down so many times before. So our ultimate goal is really to, help them over that hump and get them to the other side. And we ultimately want to help all the women out there, but we need women to ultimately make that step themselves. So
makes sense. How long have you been doing that? Can I ask?
So I've been since 2019, I'd say.
You started in 2019.
Yes.
When did you start in sales?
Late 2020, maybe early 2021. Okay,
give us a background on that. So what did you start off doing? So you weren't actually in this online space a couple of years ago. So just give us that rundown from, when you started and then up to today, so we can give people a good understanding so they can actually see the trajectory as such.
Yeah. So before I was even in the online space, I went to school to become a child and youth worker. So I was in college for 3 years
Okay.
and went through that whole thing and got out, and I worked in group homes and schools, and worked with autistic children and worked with behavioral issues, and did all that in that space. And it was extremely taxing, I'd say. Like, I love working with the families and the children, and
Yeah.
it's just taxing on the mind. Made no money. I also hustled at the bar till 2 a.m. on the weekends, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Super Bowl is my jam. I loved that. And then I started working in the online space as a VA, started taking a couple sales calls here and there, turned into taking 20 sales calls a week, and, doing a couple of VA things on the side. And then kind of turned into, my role has really transformed throughout the years. But now I manage the sales team that we have, take about 6 to 8 sales calls a week while I do a couple other things on the side. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
So do you coach the team as well as do your own sales calls and things like that?
Yeah, I do. I run a weekly sales meeting and just kind of go over their sales calls, answer any questions, try to guide them to the best of my ability. I've had no sales training up until joining your program.
I know you mentioned to us offline that you didn't even know what objections were. Go through that again. That was quite funny.
Yeah. So
what were the objections you were getting?
So often, like, our top 3 are think about it. I would hear think about it and be like, yeah, no problem. Like, go ahead, take as many days as you want. Like, I would literally say things like that. We will got to talk to my husband. I'd be like, yeah, no problem. Take some time, go talk to your husband. Here's my email. I'll send you the package. Never hear from them again. We'll get, those I think are our top 2 objections, but then we often get like a lot of, like, now I know it's fear, but it's like a lot of like, it's not going to work. I'm nervous of this not working. I've tried so much. We do get a couple money objections as well. But it's like always comes back to the fear of it, not working.
Nice. So when and how did you find us as per se?
Yeah, we found you on Instagram, actually. So, like, like my boss that I work for, she actually, well, I'm thinking about this a little bit more now that I'm in my mind. I talked to Francine about this, and she was in a coaching program, and she heard about, Objection Box, and then told me to follow you on Instagram, started following you, like, your little like tidbits. And I'm like, oh, this is sick. This is awesome. But just kind of like getting little bits here and there, kind of not really implementing them. And then I remember one day she was like, I just, decided to enroll you, like saying to me, enroll you into the Objection Box. And I was like, oh, cool. Okay, let's do this. And I was like super, super nervous and I get where you said at the beginning that a lot of people think that you just, are slapping people and getting people to like give them their credit card information, because I was super, super nervous for that particular reason, and like in full transparency, because we get women on the phone that are super vulnerable. I feel like I've even brought this to a coaching call or like even a role play before, just like with that concern. And that's not what you do at all. Like, once you kind of go through the process, you understand that a little bit more. But I was definitely nervous when she said to me, like, you're going in this program, you're doing this, and it turned out to be like amazing.
Yeah, well, we appreciate that massively. No more than I. People don't know this, but I used to coach ladies who were 3 stone overweight and who've been overweight their entire adult life. Now, if I went into that arena and started slapping people happy and I started beating those people around, guess what's going to happen? I'm going to lose a lot of deals. I'm not going to help a lot of people, and everyone's going to fail. So you gotta know who your audience is, and you gotta know how to speak to people, and you gotta have respect for people, and that's something that I've always wanted all you guys to have. At the end of the day, you can be firm but fair, and you can be caring but an asshole at the same time, because at the end of the day, when we were teenagers, you and I, Paige, Francine, not so long ago, Francine, I should say, a very long
remember.
Me and you, Paige, when we were teenagers, not so long ago, and our mom and dad said to us, you're not allowed to stay up till 2 o'clock in the morning. You're not allowed to hang around with this person. You're not allowed to go to that club. You're not allowed to do A, B, and C. They weren't being assholes with us. They were being firm, but they were being fair. Why? Because now I'm a dad, And I don't know, you don't have kids yet, do you?
No,
kids yet.
I'm 27.
Okay, well, this is all going to come. Believe me, I had one at 21, so it's all going to come for you. Hopefully, I don't know, that may be your choice. But anyway, what they were fair but firm, because they didn't want us to do what? Have pain and problems and concerns in our life. So that's the way I look at sales. It's you're helping people out when they don't, when they don't see it as help, and they don't see it until you actually, you allow them to see it and you paint the picture for them to see it, and that's the key. You mentioned to us offline that you're renovating your home, and I can see you're doing a fantastic job as is. I love all the white and the gray. Tell us about what you mentioned around having the success in sales, because that's really, really important. And that's why we do what we do.
Yeah. So my husband and I just bought our second home in this past December, right before Christmas. And we decided like it was a full gut. We gotta do some work to it. We had a budget for it. And what really, like, the other day I was talking to Francine, but I was really like sitting here, like I often, like, my husband's a carpenter, like he's doing all this work himself.
Right.
But when you're a carpenter, you want to do things right. You want the high end things, and like that's definitely his personality. And I was sitting here like looking around, and I'm doing it right now, like it reminds me just of like we made this happen for ourselves as a couple. Like we really made this space happen. It brings us so much joy and happiness to be able to build this home and eventually hopefully like have a family in this home. But I was sitting there and thinking, like, we had booked that week like 2 vacations and we're still doing renovations, and I didn't once have to look at my budget, and I didn't once have to like think about like, oh, how are we going to pay our bills, or how are we going to still do our renovations? No, we can't go on the vacation because we're doing our renovations. And it all has to do because of the commissions that I'm bringing in. Even last night, I signed up a client, I enrolled another client, and like my husband just gives me like a little smirk, because it's like we have 3 streams of income coming in right now. And it's just, everything is it's just amazing to have the opportunity to be able to figure out how to actually do that, and how to actually get the clients on the other side, and bring in that extra stream of income for him and I and our family.
Yeah.
It's just, I'm like internally just so grateful for the opportunity, and it honestly could bring even like a little bit of tears to my eyes, because I never thought I'd be sitting here at 27 years old. I thought I'd have to work at the bar the rest of my life, like having like the level of income to be able to do the things and make our dreams come true. And just like, also it just comes very simple, like hop on a 30-minute sales call and Bob's your uncle, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. And that comes down to the skill, and that's something that I've always been appreciative, because I didn't know it was a thing until 2021. 2020, I would say that I started understanding high ticket sales. 2021, I went full time, and as I always ran down people's throat, the rest is history. But it's really important, because not people get, I suppose, sick of me saying it. They just, I think what happens, Paige, in life, when you make a little bit of success, whatever success even may be to some people, is people start to not associating yourself with it, and people start to paint a different picture. But for someone, like you, who started off not even in sales, then started as a VA, then started in sales, and then now as a sales manager, now it's probably potentially helping run the company and all the rest of the stuff, to have that journey, and to now put yourself in a position at 27 that you don't have to do the shit that you don't want to do. But it also means that you can have the best quality of life, and that you guys can have whatever the hell you want. Now it comes down to you wanting to commit, and actually committing to learning the right skills, and that's something that we're really bullish on, because I tell people all the time, like, the difference between where you are and where you want to go is what you actually bring to the table, and you get paid, the, I suppose, the value that you present, and that's the key, as they say.
yeah.
What does your husband think about it all?
Oh, he's like skipping with joy all the time. Yeah.
He's like, can he retire me?
Yeah. And you know what? That is truthfully, like, him and I are big goal setters. We talk about our future constantly. Like, he'll come home from work, we'll grab the dog, and we'll go on an hour walk, and we'll just like constantly be like, that's going to be our next house. Like, this is what we want next. Like, this is how we're going to renovate the basement and the upstairs, and like this is going to be our next stream of income. Like we're constantly thinking about the future and how we want to get there, and like building that bridge and lessening that gap. And my biggest goal for him and like our family and our future family is, I would love, like, I'm not retiring. Like I won't retire. Like I love what I do.
Yeah.
I'm also a busybody. Like I literally have to stand here and move around. Like I'm a type of person that's constantly moving, and I would love to be able to retire him where he can do it like a passion project. So he's not like slinging a hammer every day, working out in the sun, the snow, the rain. Like I would love for me to be able to sit here and be able to make as much money to get us, you know, where we want to go, and him be able to do whatever he wants. That's like my ultimate goal.
Shit, that's my ultimate goal too. There you
I was
go.
just gonna say, Paige, marry me.
Yeah.
Come on.
Where can I find a woman like Paige? Eh? What the hell is going on?
We
Are
all
they
need
all-
a Paige in
Are they
our
all in-
lives.
Are they all in Canada? If they are, I'm not going. Fuck it. I hate Canada.
And I have to say, Paige, she also shared that because her husband works away during the week.
All
'cause
right.
he's- Yeah. So, but she
All
said
right.
every day, tell her the story. What does he do every day, Paige?
What
You
story
said
did
he
I tell
checked-
you? I
said
can't
he,
remember.
he said that he calls you every day to see how you're feeling.
Yeah. So he works up north right now. They're working on a cottage. So like he's home on the weekends and stuff. But he'll call me and be like, "How, like, did you sign up any calls today?" I'm like, "Yep, signed up 3." Or like, "Had to try trifecta." Or like, and it's like jumping for joy. So he's always like checking in, and it's really exciting, I guess.
Very good. Very good. So tell me, what were your thoughts when you came in? Like, what was the? I don't want you to blow smoke because that's not my game at all. But I want to just from your point of view, like, what do you think has helped the most to bring you from 25 all the way up to 75 plus? What do you think is the keys as such?
Now, I think what's really great is that everyone learns so differently, and that's something I've learned about myself is consistency is key. Like I constantly need to be like reviewing and listening. Like I've really changed from like, instead of listening to music on my walks, I'm like constantly listening to replays and videos and like all the things that you offer. I also think accountability is huge. This is something that we do with our clients as well. That's massive. Like it's so easy for someone to commit to something and not hit the markers and not do what they need to do. They just pay for the thing and they show up sometimes and then they don't. I think for me, like consistency is key. I think like because you have so many different areas for different learners to achieve the goals, like I made it a goal that I need to attend, you know, I have a number in my head that I need to attend this amount of live calls. Like physically, that's, you know, what I have to do in my mind to get where I need to go. And I need to ask the questions, and then I just need to like constantly listen. And I have like, when I'm making dinner, like I'll have the video on and I'm like watching while I'm like cooking dinner. And I just think that was really, really important. And the accountability, like Francine checking in, I think is really important. Like the second month I joined, I got really, really sick I was bedridden for two weeks. And I literally couldn't open my mouth. So I wasn't working at all. Couldn't even focus. So like I would try to listen to some replays and stuff, but really couldn't. And it's so easy for the person to fall off the bandwagon because they've been off for 2 weeks or they haven't been fully immersed in 2 weeks. And I jumped on like one of Francine's calls and like, I just need to get myself back in the game. Like I'm feeling really like lost here. I was super sick and like and she just helped me get a plan in place. And I think the accountability is like the biggest thing that your team has. And then the other thing that I love is that like, I don't even know the correct word to describe this without making it like,
God only knows
it's just like the no BS. Like,
okay, yeah.
I think that is like the biggest thing is like I say to my clients is like, you can't expect to like do sit-ups today and get abs tomorrow. Like you have to put in the work. So, you know, you don't expect to put in 50% and expect 100% results at the end of the day. So if you're not going to do it, then you're not going to get the results. And like, I feel like you guys really portray that is like, you have to do it. And if you're not going to do it, then you're not going to succeed. And I think the no BS is like huge.
Yeah, and that comes from all of us, you know. Look, I'm particularly one way on the spectrum. Francine is on that spectrum too, in terms of like that no BS. I gotta help her do the other side as well, as the arm around the shoulder and it's that type of stuff. I know she doesn't like to do it, but we gotta have some sort of balance across the board. But I think that's really, really important, because I have a very high standard, and not just because I demand it out of everybody else, I demand it out of myself first. And if I demand it out of myself, that means that it's going to do one of two things, Paige. It's going to make people level up, or it's going to make people level out. And I'm okay with either on. I'm okay with either one, because you got some big goals, as you just mentioned. You said you want to retire your husband. You want to get him in a position where he doesn't have to go shovel snow and fucking hammer away in carpentry, fucking building shit in the snow, piss and rain. So that means you got big goals, you got big aspirations. Me putting my arm around you, telling that you closing at 20% is fantastic, ain't going to cut gravy. That ain't going to cut it, And there's a way that you go about that, Not saying that you need mollycoddling, but you don't need me drilling you like a fucking drill sergeant, like used to be there when I was in military. So there has to be a fine balance, because everyone is so individual, and that's something that we speak on all day, Francine. Is like everyone is so individual. Everyone has so different personalities, and people respond different ways. Some of the guys inside, I'm on their ass. I'm like, hey, you're being a fucking DICK right now, and you're not doing the work. And I know you're not doing the work, and this is what's going to change. Whereas other people are like, hey, I know you've been sick. How can I help you? Just make a step forward today. And it's just having that balance of difference and knowing what needs to motivate people. I think that's really important for a great coaching program and a great, mentorship program. I think more so than just here's education, here's cookie cutter stuff. This is what we're doing, and look, level up, or, it's not going to work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think you guys do have something super, super special. Like it's like I come from like the online program space myself, and it's definitely, I would say, like comparable in the sense with our clients. Like you have to get to know your clients. You have to get to know your people that you're working with, and know how they need to, be addressed and responded to. And I definitely think, like, when I first joined, I was super nervous because, like, and full transparency, there's a lot of, like, you work with a lot of men, and you work with a lot of, men and
egomaniacs. Say it, Paige.
Yeah.
Egomaniacs. Say it. That's what they
Lots
are.
of testosterone.
Yeah, a lot of testosterone.
Yes,
a lot of bravado.
Francine.
Yes.
I don't know how you do it, Francine. I work with a lot of hormones.
Drink a lot.
Yeah. A lot of bravado. You're right. Yeah.
So I think, like, I did have like an expectation coming in of like, oh, I'm a little bit nervous on like how this is going to pan out for, like, I'm this, young woman. And it was like totally different than what I thought it was going to be. So, no, it's been great.
That makes us proud then, because we're not just one particular cookie cutter program or whatever it may be. And that's really important. Look, me saying that, and everyone's opinion is, oh, you'll say anything, and you'll do anything and all this kind of stuff. But I can't make Paige say it, unfortunately. I can't make her say what she wants to say. So I really appreciate that, because it just changes the narrative of who we are and what we are. Don't get me wrong. We are fucking ruthless, and we will take anyone on, and that's completely understandable. But it just comes to the level of, where do you want to be, and that's what it comes to. And you take what you want and you leave what you don't want. That's how it goes in everything,
I have a question for you, Paige.
Yeah.
So I know, because you said, like, when you came here, you didn't even know, like, what an objection was when you were hearing these things on the calls, right? And then you came here and you're like, I got to do all these things, walk them through the fear. And I remember you had been on some role play calls early on, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I mean, it seemed like it was a little bit of a challenge that you were trying to work your way through that. So tell us a little bit about that. Like, what was the mindset shift that you felt you need to take on, along with skill, obviously, in order to do that the way you're able to do it now?
Yeah, this is actually something I think I've really grown in, is my confidence. Like, I'm not good in live settings. Like, I have been anxious all morning about this, to be full transparent. So literally, I'm not good in like group settings, which is like, I'm a very confident person in my group of friends and, with the people around me, but then put me on a screen with 15 other people and I'm like shut down. I'm very, very nervous. And so when I get on role plays, I feel like I like could fumble, and then I get really nervous that I'm doing things wrong. And then And then I'm hearing everyone else's, and what's really helped me is and I joined it's 8:30 my time, so just because my schedule, they work best for me. I always attend James's role plays, and he's said to me multiple times, I got to get in my head, like I'm in my head too much. And he said to tell me pretty much every single role play, like, Paige, you're in your head, get out of your head, you're like, you need to stop thinking like this, get out of your head. And he said ultimately it's going to come down to, I don't know how he said this, but the gist of it is like ultimately it's going to come down to, like, yeah, you're too much in the sale. You're too much into the commission and the check at the end of the day. And sure, maybe I was. And he said, really take yourself out of that commission and that check, and put it more like you're helping a woman make the best decision possible for their skin and their health. And when he said that, I was like, oh, like that took the pressure off for me. So he's really helped me, and like everyone's really just helped me like grow my confidence and my mindset around being confident to be able to move them through these objections, like the fear and whatever else comes up. And I truly didn't know what an objection was at all. Like, had to maybe Google it, like had no idea. And I think that's what's really helped is like, and I was saying to my team the other day, I was like, it's super, super uncomfortable to, go through an objection. Like, the more and more you do it and the more and more you practice, the more and more it feels more and more comfortable. I even like section it out for myself. So like when I'm trying something new, and I even just got like a new tactic yesterday on yesterday's coaching call for my pitch. I'm like super nervous about trying it, but I just try it with my husband, or like I'll just try it with like in the shower by myself. And the more and more you say it over and over, the more and more it feels comfortable. When you're on that call, it's like I look and I'm like, I get through the part where I'm feeling super anxious, and I'm like, oh, well, I did it. They responded as per normal. So why was I so nervous? So it's that repetitiveness. And then it's also just like what you guys are instilling in us is like, you have like, my confidence has tenfold. Like it's just up here. And I think that's where my mindset has grown the most, is just in that element in itself, just by confidence and being able to do this.
Yeah. Cause you could have all the word tracks in the world. If
Yeah.
it's not from within, doesn't matter, right?
No.
Yeah,
No.
I just always bring myself back to, I'm helping women make the best decision possible for their skin and their health. And like that really just grounds me and brings me back to like
Totally
why I do this. And it just is more natural that route in that way.
Yeah. Now, confidence comes from what, Paige?
I would say like from constantly training and practicing.
Let me ask you this. I'll ask it a different way.
Okay.
Are you confident brushing your teeth every day?
Well, yes. Yeah. I'm pretty anal about that, actually.
Okay. I can see you got lovely pearly whites. Are you confident about driving your car every day?
No.
Oh, shit. Skin that one again. Are you confident being able to walk your dog on his lead every day without him running around and chasing ducks?
Yes.
Okay. Are you confident of knowing where you wanted that telly on the back wall when you made that decision?
No.
Shit, let's spin it again, Francine.
Okay.
Are you confident of knowing that if you follow a routine every day, you won't have acne on your skin?
Yes.
Okay, so let me cut to the chase. The reason why you're confident about those things is because you do them. And you do them to the best of your ability, which means that you get confidence from knowing that you can. The thing about objection and the problem that people have over and over and over again that we see every single day is that you can't be confident if you don't know what you're doing. It makes no sense. You can't be confident if you don't know how to do it every day. You can't be confident if you're just winging it every day. That's why we educate you guys, we coach you guys, we train you guys, we mentor you guys, because the more that we can give you confidence, the more that we can give you the education that you can feed off it in confidence, the more you're going to achieve. And then you actually do what you did, and are confidently done, and that's how it works. You outwork your own insecurities with the value and the production of what you can bring to the table every single day, and that's the key. That's what people don't understand. Or maybe they don't want to understand. Maybe it's easier to stick your head in the sand. I don't know. But sticking your head in the sand is not going to get you houses. I know that for a fucking fact. It's not going to get you. It's not going to get you what you want in life. That's for sure.
Yeah, I
How many hours
definitely
would you
feel like
say
the
you, oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
no, you go for it.
How many hours would you say that you trained, like when you started, and versus like what do you do now with
I would
training?
say I train more now. Like I've recently realized like what I need to do to, like, I'm just constantly listening to this stuff, like this, everything like I'm just constantly listening to it. When I first started, it was, I did what I needed to do. Like I attended and I like would watch a video every couple days. Now it's just like, instead of putting on the Kardashians on TV while I, whatever, I'm like putting on this and I'm like replaying this stuff, I would definitely say I'm training more now than I did at the start. I definitely thought I did a lot at the start, but I think I almost feel like I'm enjoying it now. Like I think I found an enjoyment in it. Um, so maybe that's the difference for me. And then of course, like when I see the difference between like the end of the day result with, commission, like that, definitely when you see that improvement, that's going to push you to be like, oh, this is working.
Yeah.
This is working. This is going to work. So like when I see that jump of, I was actually saying this to my husband last night. I remember being like, I remember like, am I allowed to talk about numbers here?
Absolutely. The only thing you can't talk about is your tax.
Okay.
Don't tell us how much you're paying in tax, because I know you fucking Canadians get busted up. You can tell
You
us
get
our
taxed.
numbers. We actually advocate it, don't we, Francine? We actually
Yes, we
advocate
do.
so people can
We
understand.
like data. We're data driven.
I know
here.
you guys have some good data charts. I love that. I'm all about like the spreadsheets and the charts too. So I get it. I remember when like, because again, I do this on the side. I do, a full-time 8-hour job as well. So like this, I take about 6 to 8 sales calls. But I remember when like my commission payout was $1,000. I'm like, that's sick. That's so cool. It's $1,000 extra. And then now, like I was looking last night, like our end of the month is almost done, and I'm at 5,100. Now, sorry, 5,100. I'm at five. Yeah, I'm at 5,100. And I was like, when did this happen? Of like the $1,000 was like the sick. That's cool. And now I'm at $5,000. I'm like, we're like, this is so amazing that like I'm able to just.
Well, you've
even
just 5
say
extra
that.
income based on the hours that you work. And if you work more hours, that would go to 10. And if you work more hours than that, that would go to 20, and all the rest of the stuff. So what you're doing, taking 4 or 5 calls a week, and then managing the rest of it. And I know you said you got your other jobs and all the rest of the stuff. Like to do the exact same hours that you were doing, but now get 5 extra turn, like that's the goal in life, isn't it? To work less hours probably and actually 5x the income. What else is left? That's pretty awesome for us. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's definitely incredible. So it's just, when you see like things working and you just want to do more and more and more, right? It's just, like I'm going to go walk my dog and I'm going to pop in something on school later. Like, and I'm just going to constantly pop it in my brain. And the more and more you listen to it, the more and more it's going to stick. And I even like, I think I posted in the group, like, it's kind of like when you watch a movie and you watched it when you were like 17 years old and you didn't get all the parts because you didn't know all like those inside jokes and those all like inappropriate jokes yet. Then you're like in your 20s and you watch it like, oh my God, I get that now. That makes total sense.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like, I watched think about it. It's like constantly. And it's like, maybe I'm on my 5th time, but like, it's all clicking now. Like I can run through that and I know where to go and I know what to say versus watching it the first time. So it's just like, it clicks the more and more you watch it and then you just kind of get excited.
Yeah. And that's like such a good point because a lot of people think, oh, I took an 8-week program. Oh, I took a 90-day program. Like that's not how this works. Right? Like this is ongoing. It's like an athlete. It's ongoing training because like you said, there's always another piece to the puzzle that you just can't take everything in.
Yeah. Hey guys, if you got questions for Paige, I would definitely be asking them. So ladies that are selling fitness programs, health programs, weight loss programs, where it's a high emotional standpoint, a little bit different than us gunslingers, us gun for hires. I would definitely be asking questions. Now, what I have for you, Paige, is it's it's kind of like this, right? At the start of everything, it's really, really hard. It's really difficult, and it's something that you don't want to do. It's kind of like when you're overweight and then you want to get fit. And at the start, it's awful because your body aches. You're not seeing the results that you want. And then when you start to see your first ab, guess what you do? You actually double down. You do more training. You get better at your nutrition. You look at your recovery. You look at your supplements and all the rest of the stuff. And that's the kind of position you're in now. You're seeing 2 abs and you're like, okay, well, I can do one of 2 things. I can go back to being FAT, or I can keep going further, and I can actually see it all. And that's kind of the flip that you're in right now, is because I know what it can produce. I know that it works. Now I want to do more because I want to get better. I want to be in better shape. I want to have more confidence, more certainty. I want to look in the mirror. I want to be like, fuck, wow, look at me. So that's kind of the space that you're in now, because you can see the return of what it is and what it's giving you, and that's the key. So Coloni says, I'm on a fitness offer for women. How do you apply this approach without pushing too hard, I imagine? So let me reword that if I can, Coloni. So you're on an offer page. It's the same leads, same offer, same funnel, same people, same avatar, as you say. How have you adapted our way to what you do, or has there been a lot of adaptation, or what's coming up there?
So her question is, so she is on a fitness offer? Is that
Yeah,
it?
so she probably deals with a lot of fear, a lot of insecurities, a lot of ladies
Yeah.
that, not necessarily have the confidence in themselves to make a financial or a logical or even an emotional decision. How have you been able to go from 25% to up to 75% with the same leads? Like what's going on? Because we're very binary. We put a lot of emphasis on the actual person. What's changed for you on the actual calls? I think she's asking. I imagine. Coloni, let me know. Let me know, sister.
Yeah, it's honestly like when I said that taking it away from like the physical sale, like you're helping that woman make the best decision possible. So if you don't do that, someone else is going to do that.
Okay.
And that someone else might not get them the result. So if you're confident in the result that you're going to get that person, then you should be confident in working through those objections, right? So there's a ton of fear there, because she's probably tried thousands of other things that didn't work, right? She's probably been on different programs and different fitness plans and different whatever. And it's really the fear of it not working. So really being confident, like I think with that fear objection and going through that and helping them work through that, and really making a bridge to get over that gap. And if you're not going to be the person to get them there and be confident to get them there, then someone else is going to do it. And you didn't help make that woman make the best decision possible for her health.
Very good. Very good. Okay. Keep coming with the questions, guys. I'll read them out while they're coming. Anyway, really helpful in this. So focus on the value and benefits you bring to the prospects. Exactly. Outwork your insecurities. Shit. Benjamin says, can't be confident if you don't know what you're doing. That's perfect. Mark says, how did Paige adapt her sales calls for her clients? Or did you adapt them, or did you just make the questions more impactful?
Yeah. So I came from, I had no idea what I was doing. I would just basically pitch. Like it was pitch, think about it. Cool. Sounds good. See you later. So I really went through like the training here and really pretty much adapted what I was doing. I've changed so much of my pitch, but also like going through, like never went through North Star, never went through inaction, like never went through, why not, like all of those steps I did not include. So I have completely did a 180, like, or a what is it, a 360? I don't know what it is, but yeah, I completely did a 360 and really revamped on my skill set and changed what I was doing on each sales call. And then of course, when it came down to the objection, like that's where I really had to put my big girl pants on, is what I say, and like work through that with them. Yeah.
Exactly right. The questions that we've designed, the process that we have, guys, the whole kind of premise of what we say, how we say it, when we say it, why you say it. We don't just do it for willy-nilliness. We don't do it because we think it works. We do it because we know it works. It works in every fucking industry. And I've proven that over and over and over again. We have nearly 2,000 testimonials with fucking less than 500 people. So that means that we know what is working continuously over and over and over again. Okay. The questions that we've designed, whether it's an org phase, whether it's the ideal lifestyle, whether it's the inaction questions, whether it's the frameworks that we have around the objections, we know it all works. But the problem that people have is, you know, they do a little bit of this, a little bit of that. You have to put it all together for it to have enough of an emotional, you know, difference so the person actually wants to move forward. You know, that's how it works. That's why it works.
That's a great point, because I remember like I would go through the process and then I would chicken out at going through an action, and then I would just skip right into my pitch and wasn't like, nothing was really transpiring.
Yes.
And everything that Bill has laid out there is so important, and it serves a purpose.
Correct.
You're basically like it basically serves them on a gold platter at the end of the call.
Correct.
Basically.
Yeah, all the questions that I've designed, everything that I've built, all the education, knowledge, experience that I have put into this, of making millions of dollars, to be very transparent and honest, it's all designed to put you in the best position where you don't have to overcome 55 different objections at the end. If you think about it, like the North Star is designed to build urgency. The future pace is built to build enough of a gap. The consequence is ultimately there to overcome fear. And then the objection handling is just there and dusted to actually bring the last 10% over the line. It should all really be done before you actually get to the objection handling. The objection handling is just the cherry on top. But the beauty of it is I'm very good at all of it. And that's the beauty. I'm very good at the objection handling, but the beauty of for me was that I got so good at objection handling. I was like, it was taking so much out of me every single day, having to objection handle every single person. Because what I used to do, Paige, was I would just rush through a whole sales process, get to the end of a conversation, and then just slap people around, because that's what I was good at. I knew that I could do that. So I was like rushing them all to the objections. After a couple of months, I was like, I'm getting burnt out here. I'm making a ton of money, but like, I can't do this forever. So then I looked at what the objections were, and then I went back upstream and I looked at this and I was like, hold on a second. If I just keep turning the screw here, if I lay more of a foundation here, if I put more of the responsibility here, and I actually, you know, do things like, are you ready to put a line in the sand? And I start making soft closes upwards on the structure, then I come to the end and then I have less to work with. So that's how I went from like having a 55-minute conversation down to a 28-minute conversation, because I actually started selling every start of this whole process. I didn't wait till the end and then actually start objection handling. I was objection handling the whole way through. And now I actually understand it. And now that's what we coach, and that's what we're giving you guys, you know, and that's how you can go from 25 to 75% with the same lead, same funnel, same fucking avatar, same everything. Because now you're doing it every step of the way. And now you're putting all the questions in, because all the questions have a purpose. That's how it works. Does that make sense to all of you guys? You are very beautiful, but yes, I know I am Paul Tully. Paul Tully is one of our guys. He is one of the funniest people I know. Marky says, thank you very much for the explanation. Guys, if you have any more questions, I know there's like 60 of you watching on my page. I don't know how many are watching in the community. Paige has overcome a big fear today. Paige, there's going to be thousands of people see this.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to see you in your lovely green top, and they're going to be like, damn, sister, that is fantastic on you. And they're going to be like, wonderful. Francine, what do we have left for Paige? I'll leave you ask the last couple of questions until we get more questions.
And then we have left for Paige, question-wise. Well, I guess my question for you, I know you said that like you were going to still do sales calls for fun, which I love that. But where do you see these skills helping you in the future?
Overcoming our partners, that's fucking for sure.
Yeah.
Partner with us, that's for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely helped for sure in the husband aspect.
Yeah.
No, I actually been really thinking about this lately, just because it is a really great skill set to have. And you know, of course, like I'm a CEO of a business as well, and it's just I have a lot of different opportunities. I have a lot of different pathways in my head that I could go. I don't know. I really don't know where it could bring me. Like ultimately, like I do everything in my power to make like our goals as my husband and I, our goals come true. So like whatever, you know, came at that time, like that might be something that I would think about.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely hard because I do love what I do. I do sales calls for fun. I know that sounds so silly to probably so many people because they do it for a career. And I do see why, because it's super fun though, right? And it's just, I'll continue to do them and we'll kind of see where it brings me, and like maybe what opportunities come my way. But ultimately, like I'm gonna do everything in my power to make like our dreams and our goals come true. So
I love that. Let me ask you something. Based on the skills you have now, right? Do you feel that you could go on to another offer, sometime down the road if you chose? I know it's your sister-in-law and you're not going anywhere, but I'm just kind of hypothetically, right? If you were to do that, do you feel that you've got what you need? Understanding you'd have nuances and such that you'd need to, potentially work on. But how do you feel with the skills? Do you feel like that can take you to other places in the sales world?
yeah, I actually have been thinking about that. Like, I'm not in the sales, but I don't even know how. I know you got one thing that you guys do really well is talk about like branding and identity and all of that. And that's something that I don't do personally because I'm very much like bound by blood in what I do.
Yeah.
And I can see, if I don't do that, why I wouldn't have those opportunities. But I'd say like if an opportunity did come my way, I would definitely consider it because again, like I'm going to do everything in my power to make what I want and my husband, like what we're doing and what we want to come true. So
Yeah.
if I'm able to balance everything that I want, which I've been the type of girl that I've worked 3 jobs my whole entire life. Like I'm just a busybody. I've definitely scaled back. Like I don't work the hours like I used to, which is so nice. But at the
Well, you
same
don't
time,
have
like,
to now. I want to stop you there for a second if I can.
Yeah.
You don't have
yes,
to. You don't have to. And that's what people don't understand. It's not that you don't want to, is that now you don't have to. That's the
yeah.
key, because that's the skill coming in. Go on. Sorry.
Mhm.
Sorry. Go.
No, and you know what? I get that as well. Like like my sister is 17 years older than me, and she's like, none of you guys want to work anymore. And I'm like, no, because I don't need to really. Like I do. I work really, really hard and I get everything done and I go above and beyond in all of my positions. I have hats everywhere. But at the end of the day, like when 5 o'clock goes around, I'm shutting my laptop and I'm spending time with my husband and my dog. And that's like what I really like to do. And if and when we have kids, like I'm gonna shut that at 3 p.m. But if an offer or something came around where like I understood that sales process, because again, like I'm not in the sales world, like there's a lot of terminologies that you guys use that I'm Googling on the side being like, what does that mean? And so like I'm starting to understand a lot more. So potentially, yes, if it was to help us and myself grow, then yeah, definitely.
Good.
Yeah.
Right. Last one for me. And then I'm going to go because I know all you guys have to go. You're busy. Let me ask you this. 4 months ago, do you think you'd be in this position? 3 months ago, did you think you would be in this position where you're talking about building a future? Because 6 months ago, 7 months ago, you were in a position where you were waiting tables and you were talking about Super Bowls and getting tips and all the rest of the stuff. And that's really important too. Don't throw the hat in on the pubs because I got pubs. We got pubs. We got a pub in Ireland.
Yeah.
So we love the pub. But the other side of it is, buying 2 houses, talking about buying the next house and, talking about retiring this person at 27 years of age. It doesn't like where I come from and where you come from, Paige, where you're working 3 jobs. Like I come from military, I come from hard work. The thoughts of work to us, where I grew up was your body is how you work. Your body is how you earn a dollar. Not in the way that Francine does, but like in other ways. Okay.
Not in these days, maybe earlier. Yeah.
Maybe earlier. Yeah. Your body was how you work, and what you produce, in meaning like how you carry loads or, scrubbing this floor or waiting this table and stuff like that. That's how I've grown up my whole life. Now, how I make my money and how I make a hell of a lot of people's money is with my fucking brain cell and what I got inside my head and what I'm giving people, But for you, did you think you would be having these types of conversations at 27 years of age before the objection box?
No, I'm like, we started this, I knew what you were going to say and I'm like feeling emotional.
Sure.
If
If you cry, I'll cry, and then Francine will probably just shut down. So because she doesn't have that emotional standpoint in her life.
Wait a minute.
We'll cry.
Paige, what did I
Francine-
say when you were
leave.
messaging me the other day? I said, like, it's bringing
Yes.
tears to my eyes. It is emotional to know that we have this impact on you all.
Yeah, and
But
I feel
anyway,
the same
go
way with
ahead.
our clients for sure. Yeah, I think about like, and I just like, even just like being in the setting and looking around and just, I just really never, the answer is no, I never thought I would be able to do what I am able to do now, or be able to be here, or, you know, have that extra paycheck come in, and just, it's so, I never thought I'd be 27 and be able to be where I am. And it's just so, I don't know. I can't even bring words, because it's like, it's just amazing. I can't even speak because I'm a little bit emotional, and I am a very emotional person. But yeah, I think the opportunity it has been absolutely incredible, and I'm lost for words. I'm sorry.
No
I've
problem.
loved every aspect of it. I just never really thought I would ever be in this position, like, to be able to speak in this manner and be able to make the commissions that I make, to be able to learn the skills that I have. Like, if you were to ask me in college that I'd be standing here today, like, God, I would probably be in Bali or something on the beach with a bikini. Like, I never, like, this was not
Serving
who
shots
I
to
was.
people.
Yes, like, this was not who I was. I was living paycheck to paycheck. Made no money. My husband, but he was my boyfriend at the time, like, would contribute to everything to the mortgage, and I could barely commit anything to it. And so it's just so interesting that the tables have turned a little bit for us.
I bet.
And I just, like, I can't wait to see, like, where my life kind of goes with the skills that I've learned in the Objection Box and from all of you guys.
Yeah. Well, we appreciate you very,
We
very much.
love working
We
with you,
love working with you.
Paige.
We love all that you are. We love your sternness, your vulnerability. When we get to see it, sometimes we're very emotional ourselves, so we have this perception that we're not, but we are very emotional creatures. We love and care about you all very, very much so. And for you to say such kindness and to give us such, high praise, that means an awful lot to me. And I'm Irish, so we take praise in a very funny way. We're not very receptive to it. So for us, it is a bit of a weird thing, but I'm grateful every single day that we get to do this with all of you. And I'm getting emotional now. So
Mhm.
I'm gonna end up. Thank you very much, guys. If you want to know what we do, and I know we do these things, and we drip feed some stuff and all that kind of stuff. I don't ever want to be that guy who's drip feeding, shit. If you ever want to know, just come and message us. If you ever want to see what we do, jump into our free Facebook group. There's over 100 hours of education and knowledge and training in there. Okay, I want you to have as much value from me before you want to even come and have a conversation with me and my team. So go in there, jump in there, and get a ton of free value and stuff like that. We don't want anything for it. All we want is you to basically turn around and say, I applied it, you made us a ton of money, and I appreciate it. So Paige, thank you very much for giving us your time. We're highly appreciative of you and what you bring to the table for us, and long may it continue. Francine, you want to leave it with the last word? I'll leave it up to you. Big responsibility.
Oh, the last word.
Shit.
I will say this is going to come in really handy when you have kids, Paige. So keep up the training.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yes. All right, girls, I'll see you later on. Lots of love. Everyone, bye-bye. Appreciate you all. Have a great day. Ciao. Bye-bye.